Well, here we are again, December 21st of 2025. It's a Sunday, a little bit afternoon. We are definitely in what would be the season for little Match Girl games if we had any left, but we played through them all this year. So we need to find another wintry feeling game from Ryan to play. And conveniently, there is one. Here we have Winter Storm Draco, an interactive documentary by Ryan Veeder. I've played this game once before, but it's been a long, long time since I've done so. We are not playing on a screen reader or mobile device, so I'm going to say no. Thank you. Please type as loudly as possible. Okay, so in December of 2012, a weather system of colossal size brought itself into existence off the western coast of North America. As it passed over the mighty Rocky Mountains, the weather system increased in its intensity and destructive capability, its barometric pressure eventually falling to an astounding 971 millibars. Hundreds of feet of snow. Okay, so we are cutting off. Let me reorient my screen a little bit like so. Okay, there we go. That should be better. Hundreds of feet of snow. In case it's not obvious, regardless of what I type, the text appears as though typewritten. So that's why we're typing as loudly as possible to reproduce the clacking of a typewriter. Hundreds of feet of snow fell on the people of the Midwest. Thousands of those people were left without electricity, made to shiver by candlelight as they awaited the cataclysmic termination of the Mayan calendar. In Earth's northern hemisphere, the nights of the 19th and 20th were among the longest of the year, and in the American Midwest, they were also among the coldest and the most fraught with dread. The Weather Channel gave a name to this weather system. The National Weather Service, having opposed the Weather Channel's practice of naming winter storms since its announcement in October of the same year, did not use or acknowledge this name. In the official records, the storm will be memorialized only by cold statistics, by two hyphen-separated dates. But language belongs to all of us, to each of us, and we invent our language anew each time we speak it. When you type a word into a computer, you decide with absolute authority what that word means to you, and your decision cannot be contested by any individual, social group, government entity, corporation, or text parser. If you choose to call a storm by a name, then that name is, if nowhere else but in your heart, the name of that storm. The name of the storm to which I refer is also the name of this text-adventure computer game. Winter Storm Draco, an interactive documentary by Ryan Veeder. Release 1, serial number 201110, Inform 7, build 6M62, iSlix, version 6.34, library 6/12 in. You lope across the road with absurd, syncopated steps, your arms unevenly heavy with grocery bags, your lumbering gait spotlit by 6 lanes of headlights. With each step, you run the risk of falling over and making an even bigger fool of yourself. Just as you reach the far side, the signal changes and traffic resumes slowly. Nobody's eager to start fishtailing across the fresh snow. Highway. That was the hard part. From here on, it's a straight shot. No problem. The grocery store is north, across the highway. That's where you just were. To the south is a trail through the woods, and on the other side of that is your house. You should try to get there quick, before the storm catches up with you. Let's start with About. Hi, thank you for checking out my interactive documentary about Winter Storm Draco. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for introducing it. This interactive documentary was supported by my many fabulous Patreon supporters, and I list them for you here in the order in which Patreon sees fit to list them to me. Thomas, Janice, Jeff, Stuart, Jason, Maiko, Jacques, Zachary, David, Emily, Doug, Stephen, Jason, Matthew, Derek, Carl, Alan, Rich, Hamish, Jenny, Johanna. At least one person is not in Patreon's list. There are an odd number in this list, and there are an even number of supporters. Something screwy is going on. Testers. Emily, Janice, Zachary, Jason, Hamish, Maiko, Jenny, and Hamish? It's Hamish, isn't it? I think I'm mispronouncing that. Maiko, Jenny, and Emily. +1 post-release bug was discovered independently by Hannon and Carter. Some elements of this interactive documentary were furnished by or stolen from the Weather Channel, Edgar Allan Poe, and my dad. To learn more about Winter Storm Draco, replay or continue playing this interactive documentary. Examine me. You are wearing a puffy black jacket. Let's check out that jacket. The jacket. This jacket is not flattering in the slightest, but it isn't supposed to look good. It is supposed to keep you from freezing to death. It's not doing a very good job of that either. I check my inventory. You're carrying a plastic bag and a canvas bag. I'll check out the canvas bag first. In the canvas bag are 2 bottles. I'll examine the bottles. You can't use multiple objects with that verb. I'm sorry, I know this is stupid. Let's examine the first bottle. Examine bottle. This is some extremely cheap wine. And let's examine the plastic bag. In the plastic bag are a package of hot dogs, a package of Solo cups, and a corkscrew. I examine the hot dogs. This package contains 12 hot dogs. You don't know how long this blizzard will last, but you and your housemates probably cannot survive the whole storm on 12 hot dogs. It occurs to you that you forgot the buns. I'll examine the cups. This package contains 72 red Solo cups. You and your housemates have plans for these. And this corkscrew? It recently came to light that, somehow, neither you nor any of your housemates owned a corkscrew. Well, from now on, anytime they want to screw a cork out of anything, they'll be at your mercy. Let's examine the store. The grocery store is nearly abandoned. Sensible people are all safe in their homes right now, but it is open and its bright white lights shine out from its plate glass windows as a welcoming beacon to everyone who needs to stock up on bottled water before the blizzard hits. Let's look once more. The grocery store is north across the highway. That's where you just were. To the south is a trail through the woods, and on the other side of that is your house. Let's check out the highway. The cars are all inching along carefully, and the snow on most of the road is undisturbed. Can I examine the signal? Green, amber, red, green. You should get a move on. I try to go north. It's too late to go back to the store. You'll have to go home without buns. All right, well, in that case, let's do a Ryan Veeder classic and try singing. Last night I dreamed I had burning hands, reaching for beautiful visions, and everything was shimmering. Fair enough. We go south. And now you are walking into the woods. Now you are losing your bearings. You turn around to retrace your path and return to the highway, but the snow has already covered your footsteps and the trail, if it was indeed the trail, is invisible. Now you have no idea where you are. Fire pit. A circle of rocks here indicates that this area was used as a fire pit at some point by an outdoors person or outdoors people. The rest of their campsite is long gone. Your house is south, but you don't know which way south is. Obvious exits are wander randomly, wander aimlessly, wander determinedly, and wander desperately. I don't think it's come to that just yet. Let's check out this fire pit first. Soon the snow will cover the rocks completely, and the fire pit will appear as a raised circle of snow. Then the snow will cover that. You hear a car zooming dangerously fast on the highway. Wait, which way was that coming from? Let's listen. Wind. Smell? You smell nothing, but that's always been the case, hasn't it? Taste snow. You taste nothing unexpected. Let's examine the trees. The trees are all essentially identical, and an infinite number of them can be seen in any direction. Between their leafless branches, the sky grows mercury pink, swirling with snowflakes. I guess let's try wandering. Let's wander randomly first. You wander randomly across the snow. Near a stump. You stop near a huge tree stump, which is quickly disappearing under the snow. Obvious exits are wander desperately, wander randomly, wander aimlessly, and wander determinedly. You hear the sirens of a distant emergency vehicle. Let's examine the stump. Whatever mighty tree grew from this stump is nowhere to be seen. You hear an unseen owl hooting a warning. Too late, owl. Let's listen once more. Wind. But also, no, just the wind. I guess let's try wandering aimlessly this time. You wander aimlessly across the snow. Tree full of crows. You have reached an ancient oak tree. Its branches are heavy with black crows. They are weirdly quiet. Obvious exits are wander desperately, wander randomly, wander aimlessly, and wander determinedly. Let's examine these crows. The crows are crammed close together for warmth, and you can't make out any individuals, much less guess how many are up there. You can tell they're crows, though, by the way they hop around and flap occasionally. Here's a fun thing you can try in real life. While you're near a tree full of crows, quickly, but silently, raise your arms into the air. If the author were going to try doing this in a text-adventure interactive documentary, I guess the command he'd enter would be wave. You hear an unseen owl hooting a warning. Too late, owl. I guess let's go ahead and try waving. You raise your arms quickly, but silently, and the whole flock of crows flies out of the tree in a noisy and confused manner. As wild as this seems, it is totally a real thing that happens, and in the author's experience, it is very reliably reproducible. It is not typical for the crows to shriek "Tikili-lee" as they fly off, though the way they're doing right now. Something shiny falls out of the tree and into the snow at your feet. You pick it up before you lose track of it. Let's see. The thing that we got was a sewing needle. Let's examine the sewing needle. It's a sewing needle. Apparently someone lost it, then a crow found it, and then the crow lost it when you scared the poor thing out of its tree. You hear a crow shrieking, "Tikili-lee." That's an expression used in some property or other that I cannot remember. Look once more. You have reached an ancient oak tree. Its branches do not have crows hanging out in them anymore. The oak dominates this area, forcing shorter and skinnier trees to wait at a respectable distance. Between its leafless branches, the sky glows mercury pink, swirling with snowflakes. Let's try wandering determinedly. You wander determinedly across the snow. Bench. There's a little bench here for hikers to rest on as they enjoy the beauty of nature. It is covered in snow. Our usual obvious exits also appear here. Let's examine the bench. It's an old bench, all splintered wood and rusted metal. There's an Altoids tin stuck to the side of it somehow. I try opening the tin. You open the Altoids tin, revealing a strip of paper and a penny. I examine the strip. The paper is rolled up tight, but once unrolled, it says, "Congratulations! You've just found a geocache, intentionally or not. Geocaching is the anytime, anywhere adventure where players, called geocachers..." You don't have time for this. You roll the paper back up and return it to the tin. We'll examine the penny. This penny has seen better days. Let's put the sewing needle in the tin. Put needle in tin. Once it's left inside the tin, the needle sticks to the side with the magnet. You put the sewing needle into the Altoids tin. We hear a crow. Let's close the tin. Let's look. You could move around more methodically if you had a compass, but you don't have a compass. Oh, I see. Okay, so we need to... take a cup. You tear the plastic apart and pull out a cup. Put snow in cup. A cup of snow won't do you much good. A cup of water might be more useful, but melting that much snow would require more body heat than you can spare. Rub. Take needle. Open tin. Take needle. Rub needle on tin. You rub the needle against the magnetized lid of the tin several times. 12 times. 20 times. 40 times. Eventually, your arm gets tired. Well, if it's not magnetized now, it never will be. Let's look. You could conceivably make a compass. Yeah, I'm trying to do that, game. Let's go wander randomly once more. You are near a log. It will serve as a useful point of reference as long as there's only one fallen log in these woods. Let's check out the log. It's a thick log, but the stump it used to be connected to is not in evidence. A layer of snow is rapidly accumulating on top of it. Take wood. No, we need the cork. Let's take wine. Open it. You apply the corkscrew with some difficulty, given how cold your hands are and how cold everything else around is. But then there's a pop, and you have a loose cork and an open bottle in your hands. Pour wine in cup. You pour some wine into the solo cup. Put needle in cork. With a great effort, you push the needle lengthwise through the cork until the point emerges from the other end. That's kind of harder to do than you would think. Now let's put cork in cup. You put the cork into the solo cup. You stare at your makeshift compass intently, shielding it from the snow with your hand, trying not to disturb it with your breath. The cork spins around aimlessly. No, it's turning back. It oscillates, and then it stops, pointing steadfastly toward what must be either the north or the south pole of this Earth. Let's say it's pointing north. It's a 50-50 proposition, right? You look around. If that's north, then your house is that way, and the clearest path through the woods in that general direction is southeast. We go southeast to the bench. The trail is starting to become more obvious now that you have your bearings. You can continue south. Empty oak tree. You've reached an ancient oak tree. Its branches do not have crows hanging out in them anymore. You're pretty sure the way home is southwest. Fire pit. A circle of rocks here indicates that this area was used as a fire pit at some point by an outdoors person or outdoors people. The rest of their campsite is long gone. The trail continues south. Near a stump. Let's go south once more. Near the woods. This is fairly close to where you thought you'd end up. Getting home from here should be easy. You're at the north end of the cemetery, where it meets up with the woods. In all other directions are diminishingly visible grave markers. There are no streetlights over the cemetery, and the snow has picked up a bit. You can see, or you remember seeing, or you imagine having seen, larger shapes to the east and south. The wind blows a black feather past your face and out of sight. I look for the shapes, despite knowing I cannot examine multiple objects with that verb. You peer into black torrents of snow. Your eyes unfocus. You see out to what might be an infinite distance. You lose track of what you were looking for. Let's try going east first to near a shed. The tombstones draw oddly close to this shed. Too many people have died. There's no room left for cemetery maintenance. The shed itself is unbelievably decrepit and leans about 30 degrees away from the perpendicular. This must be down to an unevenness of the ground, but you could easily believe it was warped just this evening by this bitter wind. Vague spaces lurk south and west. Can I open the shed? You open the shed, revealing a shovel. Tried to take it, that is frozen in place. I take the shovel. You lift the shovel. The rusty handle should be cold enough to burn your bare hands, but you feel fine. My cat is meowing. We'll see if he bothers me while we continue this. Let's go out. We're already out. Let's go south, near an obelisk. The open area around the obelisk must be a driveway underneath the snow. The nearby grave markers all stand at a respectable distance. At the foot of the monument is a spotlight. It's either turned off or burnt out. A large dark shape is west, and a smaller dark shape is north. If what you're standing on is indeed a road, it leads south. In the black sky, a blacker shape appears. No, you're imagining things. I look at the spotlight. It points up at the obelisk, and its brilliant white light reflects from the monolith's surface, making it a beacon to the entire cemetery when the light's turned on. Can we turn it on? Turn on spotlight. You can't find any switch. Let's examine the obelisk itself. A pillar of white marble points up in defiance, or reproach, or warning toward you can't see what. There's a bunch of clouds in the way. Let's try going west, near a mausoleum. The marble edifice offers no shelter from the storm, to you anyway, but it at least serves as a point of reference among the swirling snow and rows of headstones. The way back to the woods is north. Something else is east. We haven't actually tried looking at the tombs. Gravestones? Headstones? You bend down to squint at one of the gravestones. Vain the hopes for such as me who dwell in deep eternity. Another? You bend down to squint at one of the gravestones. The ancient stone reads, Pim. The engraving is in Chinese or something. You can't make head or tail of it. Celeste Nolan, wife, mother, embezzler. Looks like that's all of them. Snow stings the small of your back. You stand up and adjust your jacket. Let's go back to let's examine the mausoleum. The snow seems to fly deliberately around rather than settle in a drift against the walls and columns of black marble. The bars over the windows and the door are wrought in a floral motif. The name chiseled over the threshold is Silas. Let's go back east. The crows are back. Let's go south. Near the gate. You can see the southern wall of the cemetery now, and straight south down the driveway is the gate. Off to the side, the Black Angel stands guard among the tombstones. Let's examine the Black Angel. Though the stone is old, her features are distinct even in this light. Her brow is stern, but her gaze is distracted. She's too preoccupied to brush the snow from her wings. That seems rather well personified. Let's go further south. As you approach the exit, the Black Angel's wings shudder. She rises from her post. In an instant, she's between you and the gate. She grasps her scythe and swings at you from the left. Let's back up. You jump back, and the blade slices through empty air. Your progress has been recorded in the combat progress bar at the top of the window. We are... I don't know if... Is that visible? Let's see. Yes, we are closer to defeat than to victory. The scythe's blade swings in from your left. We're going to go ahead and back up once more. You jump back, and the blade slices through empty air. She brings the scythe down, pointed right at your head. Let's, slice. You can also use a command like slice right or CR if you wish. In which direction, up, down, left, or right, do you want to slice? Up. You grasp a shovel. You raise your shovel against her attack. The scythe rebounds, and the Black Angel nearly loses her grip. She spins her scythe theatrically, hoping to distract you with its glitter. Let's advance. You move in before she can attack. She brandishes the scythe. Its edge glints. We thrust. You take the chance to thrust the shovel toward her, knocking her back and nearly breaking her grip on the scythe. She raises her scythe over her head and swings it down. We will slice up. You block the attack with your shovel, and the Black Angel is knocked back by the recoil. She spins her scythe theatrically, hoping to distract you with its glitter. Let's slice right this time. You slice from left to right and land a blow on her left wing. She brandishes the scythe. Its edge glints. Now let's slice left. You slice from right to left and land a blow on her right wing. She pulls her scythe away, drawing herself back like a spring. Excuse me. Let's try thrusting. Before she can swing, you lunge forward, the blade of your shovel trained on her stomach. The thrust connects, the Black Angel falters, and a shriek of pain bursts from her skull. She withdraws and grabs at her wound as if the stone were bleeding. Her wings heave, black feathers falling and flying away in the wind. She fixes you with a glare of desperate hatred. Then her body tenses as if she's about to scream, but instead she lifts herself into the air, through the snow, into the storm. We are location near the gate, visibility very bad. Let's go south. To Peters Street. You are standing up to your ankles in snow just outside the cemetery gate. South of you is Peters Street, a major thoroughfare. A fluorescent-lit pedestrian tunnel leads underneath. To the east is a bus stop. The thick gusts of snow, now blowing at an extreme angle, make all of this very difficult to see. That won't be a problem for long, though. Your house isn't much further. A white crow flies out of the tunnel. I tried to examine the crow, but it's gone. I enter the tunnel. Fluorescent lights, wreathed with ancient cobwebs, cast the concrete walls with a flickering pallor. Oddly, the light at the southern end of the tunnel is bright white. A cruel trick of the wind from the northern end blows snow in at an unnatural velocity, with a force that threatens to knock you down. A shriek echoes, "Tiki-li-li-li." You turn your head back and forth, but can't tell from which direction it came. I tried to go south from here. You exit the tunnel into absolute whiteness. A blast of wind hits you in the back and you fall to your knees. Your solo cup compass flies from your hand. A gout of wine stains the snow. Location unknown, visibility none. South, but which way is that? You take a few uncertain steps. I try to examine my inventory. You are conscious of a weight pulling down on your arms, although that might just be your hands. This is not going well. Location unknown, visibility none. Stand. You do remember falling down, but currently you seem to be on your feet. Close eyes. Can't see any such thing. Jump. You can barely stand. Maybe you can jump a little after you're done freezing to death. We are struggling to enter commands. You'll have to say which compass direction to go in. You trudge onward. In the whiteness, you can discern a tall white figure. I examine the figure. If the figure is as far off as he seems to be, then he is very tall indeed, but you have the uneasy feeling that he is closer than he looks. A puff of steam escapes his nostrils. The wind swallows your words before they reach the distant figure. You set out in a direction, but your only frame of reference is the figure. Omnipresent and infinitely distant. Maybe you haven't moved at all. I try to walk to the figure. You push your legs through the snow, either toward or away from the figure. He remains as immense as ever. He does not notice you. Tiki-li-li. Tekali-li, maybe? Let's, hide. There's nowhere to hide. Stand. He slicks back his bleached hair. He adjusts his garment. Think. You slow down for a moment. Dazzling light glitters on his scales. You have to look away. There's nowhere else to look. There must be some other way to get his attention. He strokes his chin. Jump? No. He admires his claws. He has not noticed you. Wave. You lift your arm. This is more difficult than it usually is. But the motion gets his attention, and he turns, meets your eye, slithers near. Sorry, idiot. I beat you here. Too bad. Your friends are gonna... Say, what's your name? Please enter your full name. J. Essen. Nice to meet you, Jay. So the tombstone will read, J. Essen died December 20th, 2012, and then in smaller text it'll say, a huge idiot who is too cool to wear gloves. That's assuming anybody cares that much about your pathetic frozen corpse. Maybe they'll just let the birds take care of you. He looks up at the sky. No, they've all flown south for the winter. You hear a tekali-li from far off, and he grins. Well, I'm here for the duration, so I'll try to comfort you in your final moments. You're welcome. He glares down at the source of your failing voice, and then he pointedly breaks eye contact. I'm sorry, he says. Was there something you wanted to ask me about? I ask about the crows. He half-heartedly stifles a chuckle. My opinion is that you ought to treat crows with greater respect. I suppose I should say you ought to have treated. Your lack of civility hardly matters now, though, tense and aspect notwithstanding. I ask him about the wine. Oh, please, I have no patience for your little corporeal entertainments. I know humans used to pour wine out onto any old thing in an attempt to appease the gods. Which you did a little ways back there, right? But guess what? I am not appeased. I ask him about himself. His nostrils flare and fangs appear behind his twisted lips. Do you not know who I am? Are you really so stupid? But he calms himself. Of course you are. My mistake. All the same, maybe we should pursue a different topic of conversation until you're able to refer to me with a modicum of respect. I guess I'll ask him about me, then. You? Your name is J. Essen. You decided, for whatever reason, against taking a bus or a taxi home from the grocery store. You cobbled together an exceedingly primitive compass. Then there was some brutish behavior in a cemetery, which wasted valuable energy that would have been better saved for use here, as you slowly succumb to hypothermia. He shrugs. The rest of the story isn't really about you, per se. You and your dead body are equally unlucky, but distinct entities. I'll ask him about the house. He waves the notion away. Next topic. I'll ask him about the angel. He rolls his eyes and blows a puff of air up into his bangs. I'm afraid I can't speak for her. Maybe she was trying to protect you from me. He chuckles. That doesn't sound much like her, does it? I asked him about the stump, and he waves the motion away. Such things are beneath me. Dazzling light glitters on his scales. You have to look away. There's nowhere else to look. Let's ask him about the scales. Can we examine the scales? White scales, like a million knights' pointed shields, cover the entirety of his undulating body, or else his skin is whiter and smoother than a marble statue's. I ask him about it. No, you're saying it wrong. He curves his serpentine neck and whistles. Tekali-li, like that. If you can't say it right, I'm not going to tell you what it means. Let's try it one more time. Let's try ask him about... Oh, I think I did a pretty good job that time. Let's ask him about Draco. He bows deeply, approximating a demure expression. Yes, that's me. And I'd be happy to tell you everything about myself, or as much as I can fit in before you die of exposure. Let's see. He looks through the snow and points a claw into the distance. I brought myself into existence off the western coast of North America a few days ago. I crossed the Rockies without difficulty, and, having accumulated a profound amount of atmospheric moisture, I started to cover the middle of your continent with rain, snow, thunder and lightning, everything. I just got here tonight, but I'd say I've already made quite an impression. It was never my intention to hurt anybody. I get nothing out of inflicting pain, but I do tend to think your sad fate might not be all that pointless. Those who hear about what happened to you, if you're remembered at all, will hopefully take the story to heart, and it may encourage them to take me seriously. From here I'm heading east. Boston, D.C., New York City. They'll appreciate me over there. For you Middle America yokels, every snowstorm's the same. A mild inconvenience. Uh-oh, we have to shovel the sidewalk again. But they'll really get me. They'll be talking about me for years. Winter Storm Draco. Are you dead yet? No, you're thinking, if west is that way... Let's go south. You turn away from Winter Storm Draco and begin walking south. Hey, where are you going? A scrap of color flickers in the air ahead. Your eyes are playing tricks on you. Hey, idiot, get back here, you... His voice cracks, replaced by screeching and flapping so loud as to drown out even the wind. You break into a run. Euclid Street. As you run, you refamiliarize yourself with concepts of line, form, and color. Those shapes that appear to be smaller than the other shapes only seem that way because they're further from you. The thing that is furthest away is a vanishing point. You can figure that out later. The orange-pink cast over all of the shapes is an effect of the streetlights, or perhaps the dawn. The shapes themselves are houses. Each of them is surrounded and covered by at least a foot of snow, a colorless substance with many interesting properties. Your house is south from here. To the north is something you are afraid to look at. Let's go south. Home. You unlock the front door and creep inside. A gust of wind blows it wide open. You push against it with the last of your strength, and it closes again. You call out softly to the stairway, but no one replies. Your housemates are asleep. You wonder what time it is. You decide not to check. You stuff the hot dogs in the refrigerator, pull out another plastic cup, and pour yourself some wine. The end. Would you like to restart, restore a save game, see some suggestions for amusing things to do, quit, or undo the last command? Let's see amusing. This interactive documentary is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to amuse. Well, I guess on that note, we'll call this a good game well played and resume a new game in the future. Thank you for watching me play Winter Storm Draco. I have been Jay Essen. You can visit Ryan's website at rcveter.net, where I encourage you to join his Patreon at patreon.com/rcveter, or play one of his many other games.